Uncensored is back in the studio with a bang in September. Until then, feast on some of our favourite moments from the year so far.
And in the case of the Germans, they were killing 6 million Jews. They killed 13 million overall. We were trying to stop a Holocaust. In this case, Israel is the one doing the genocide and saying, well, I mean, why are you trying to stop us from killing innocent Palestinians and taking their land? Because in that analogy, you're the Germans. So the Palestinians
I'm the German?
Those innocent children didn't do anything, dude.
Did you call me a Nazi?
If you're supporting Israel, yeah.
I'm a Nazi?
So, look, they did a Holocaust, which is...
And you called other people fundamentalists?
The current terrorist state of Israel.
You just called me a Nazi?
Hey, Rabbi, can I...
this is a sad day. This is a sad day for you, Cenk. Cenk, this is a sad day for you.
No,
just for your credibility, take it back. I'm begging you. Not for me.
Can I finish my sentence?
For your credibility, just take it back.
I'm not going to take it back.
This is a sad day for you.
I'm not going to take it back.
This is a sad day for you.
So,
this is to compare me to the SS as a Nazi. This is a sad day for you. Your credibility will never recover.
Pierce,
can I finish a sentence? Now that I've been called a Nazi, can I respond, Pierce? May I respond?
No, because I haven't finished the goddamn sentence. You think you own everything.
Go ahead,
you don't own everything, Rabbi Shmuley. You don't own the American government. You don't own the American people. By the way, when is America going to get its $300 billion back? We gave it to a bunch of criminals to murder children. Okay, you murder children with our money. Every day you take money out of my taxes. I go to work every day, and then Israel takes money out of it to murder Palestinian children. You've murdered 20,000 children already. You're the aggressors. Israel has already killed more babies than Hamas has killed civilians overall. Israel has killed a stadium full of women and children, and you are surprised that we compare you to the Germans? Omar Bartov, an Israeli-American Holocaust expert, just wrote an article in the New York Times saying that now the Israelis are doing the type of genocide that makes saying never again absurd. Absurd. Why are they doing the thing that was done to them? The world had tremendous sympathy for all Jews, and I do, all decent human beings do. But what Israel is doing is lighting that sympathy on fire and saying, we get to murder, we get to kill, and you can't call us any names. We get to call all Muslims who fight back against us terrorists. We get to attack all of our neighbors. They attacked Syria again today. We get to break all the laws. We get to commit war crimes. And I'm telling you right now, just like the Germans, you do not have the right to commit war crimes, to commit a genocide, to kill all those children, and then hide and use as a shield. Oh, everybody's an anti-Semite. You're canceled. You don't get to say it. You've ruined your credibility. No, Israel has ruined its credibility. Israel is now one of the most monstrous states I have ever seen in my lifetime. They commit endless terrorism. They rob the American people of our money to rob Palestinians of their land. That is actually a stone-cold fact.
Okay.
And I was right. Israel is now occupying 75% of Gaza. It was always to steal their land. In the reality-based world, Palestine does not exist because Israel is blocking its existence. Its cabinet voted to say that a Palestinian state will never exist. They will never allow it. So you're not worried that in the real world, the Palestinians are not allowed to exist, and if they resist at all their brutal 57-year humiliating occupation, they're called terrorists, they're the worst people on earth, we should hate them all, and they should never be allowed to exist. That's the real world. Israel exists and is one of the largest militaries in the world.
Yeah, but you're missing my point again, deliberately. I think you're deliberately missing my point.
Hold on. Okay, Piers, let me finish. Now, meanwhile, you live in a theoretical world where you say these powerless people who have no ability to affect Israel's existence at all. The Palestinians are literally throwing stones. They bomb back to the Stone Age. They have no power at all.
Hezbollah's been firing rockets.
You're saying, hold on. If you ask me a question, let me answer the goddamn question.
You are making wrong statements,
Okay, you're being a ridiculous, unfair, ridiculous person.
I'm picking you up
on... Go and join the Mossad over here with him.
I'm picking you up. His name is Mossad, by the way, with a B. But the
Mossad, right? That's who he works for, and that's who he's
Well, his name is Mossad. And he works...
Oh, he's Mossad that works for Mossad. Okay, got it.
I think you're deliberately avoiding the point I'm making, which is...
No, I'm getting to the point you're making if you stop cutting me off.
Okay, but you're making misleading statements. You're saying these people are throwing rocks at Israel. They're doing a lot more than throwing rocks. Hezbollah's been firing rocket after rocket after rocket. Hamas has been launching terror attacks. The Houthis have been firing rockets. The Iranians are funding it all. It's not just rock throwing, Cenk, is it?
Okay, Piers, you're making it sound, this is the frame of all Western media, that the Palestinians and the Arabs and the Muslims are so strong, they're about to wipe out poor little Israel, who's barely existing right now, poor little David, and this Goliath Arabs are about to wipe them out. Are you crazy?
I said they would like to.
Israel is the... Okay, what an absurd thing. Okay, so here, Piers. African National Congress resisted the apartheid in South Africa. They did it through terrorism, they killed civilians, and they did it through peace, they did it through both. They were both terrorists and resistance fighters. They were both of those things. And you can be both of those things. What you would say right now is the African National Congress didn't want white South Africa to exist. They wanted them to be wiped out. The African National Congress are terrorists. They're the worst people. We have to keep apartheid because those guys are terrorists. We have to keep apartheid because they don't want South Africa to exist as it currently is. So no, that's absurd. So if you say to me, should Israel exist? Of course Israel should exist. Of course they should be a safe haven. But they're saying, no, Cenk, you're right, Israel should exist, but Palestine shouldn't. And you're saying I'm the one that's being unfair?
I haven't said that. Why are you putting words in my mouth?
Of that?
Why are you putting words in my mouth? I never said that.
Okay, Piers, do you see the absurdity?
I didn't say that,
the Israelis not only existing, but occupying the Palestinians for 57 years and preventing their state, and then claiming that their right to existence is somehow in jeopardy, but the Palestinians isn't. So for God's sake, what can the Palestinians do for these Israelis to free them, to give them their state and to stop occupying them?
Let me bring, we've got Mossad back.
Israelis, I'm begging you to stop being so brutal, stop being the thing that you hated. Stop being the thing that oppressed you in the first place. These Palestinians are not Nazis. You're fighting a ghost. No, the people who are being the fascists here, I hate to do this because it's breaking my heart and it should break your heart. You're being the fascists. You're the ones slaughtering their civilians. Look, how do you look at those children being starved to death in northern Gaza and not see Jewish children in Germany in the 1930s and 40s? How do you not see that? It's the same exact image. Snap out of it.
What is the nature of that strange
comparing starving children in Gaza to Jewish children during the Holocaust hits with historical gravity. But here's the legal twist. Under international law, cutting off food and water can qualify as a war crime, so are we witnessing a breach of the Geneva Conventions in real time?
This is not a free speech issue necessarily. So, for example, as I've already quoted, what it is that is Mahmoud Khalil is being deported on is that he broke the rules that he agreed to when he came to America. He can continue saying what he wants. In fact, he could have said all that he said, or rather, no, he can't. He can't express support for Hamas. He could have expressed support for Palestine. He could even have been anti-Semitic, and it wouldn't have broken the rules. But specifically, he supported terrorist activity and terrorist organisation, and that broke the rules which he agreed to when he came to America.
This is all nonsense. This is all nonsense.
That's completely correct.
Because they never investigated any Irish people on student visas. Any Irish people who are on green cards. They never look. The PKK is a Kurdish terrorist organization. Did they investigate anybody who supports them? No. The only people that are investigated are people who criticize Israel.
Not true.
Who are we kidding? No. I want you to answer the question.
Yeah.
Be honest and be serious.
No.
Do you think that any other country or any other movement is investigated other than if you dare to criticize our special ally Israel because they buy all our politicians? That's so obvious. That's the most obvious thing in the world. Anyone who doesn't acknowledge that, including every single mainstream media reporter in America, is an enormous liar. It is the money talking, saying, how dare you arrest anyone who dares to criticize Israel. Admit that that's true. If you don't admit that's true, then there's no point in this conversation.
Do you accept any criticism of what Israel is doing now?
I think that they are back in conflict because ceasefire has failed. Both sides. Now, look, if you go into why the ceasefire has failed,
Israel.
There's arguments on both sides. Israel obviously only got 22 of the promised 33 hostages. Hamas said they would clear the Philadelphia passage.
Israel
they did not.
Withdraw because
Israel's definitely,
will you all
definitely have grievances.
when they try to take Gaza?
May I? Israel have grievances about the phase 1 of the ceasefire failing, so they've been unable to get to phase 2 of the ceasefire.
Should hang on, Winston, should they be turning off the power?
Okay, Did you hear that? Starvation is a normal part of war. That's not just controversial, it's flat out wrong under international law. Article 54 of Additional Protocol I to the Geneva Conventions literally prohibits using starvation as a method of warfare. This isn't just a hot take, it's a legal violation if proven.
Now that the ceasefire has failed, the conflict is been.
Yeah, but
they're starving them to death.
Blockades are
do you want them starved to death?
Are a normal part of war.
So starvation is a normal part of war. No, it's a war crime. I'm glad you brought up Nazi Germany. That's exactly what the Germans would have done. Cut off their food, and then incinerate their kids. Because that's what they did. They put them in and incinerated the Jews during the Holocaust. It was heartbreaking. Jews have suffered so much throughout history. Now, Israel turns around, pretends to be the Jewish state, and says, I speak for all Jews. No, you don't. You don't speak for my Jewish friends. You don't speak for my Jewish family. And you've actually greatly tainted them. And I despise Israel for that. Now Israel says, we get to starve children to death. We get to burn them to death. We get to crush their skulls. No, you have become what you most despised. So please stop. I know that there's nothing we could do because you bought every single politician in America, but I'm asking you to have morality and remember your Jewish faith, which is a wonderful faith that is giving and generous and talks in Passover about even having mercy for the people who kept you as slaves. Can you not have mercy for the people that you are keeping as slaves?
Okay.
How long are you going to occupy them? Okay. Answer that question. How long are you going to occupy them? You are brutalizing them. 58 years. You've kept them in a dark dungeon. And anytime they dare to oppose you cut off their water, you cut off, and you kill their children. Israel, you should be better than this.
Cenk, you were laughing at one stage there. What were you laughing at?
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of absurd things were said there, like any mention of the Crown Prince. I mean, the guy's the son of a former dictator of Iran. He has zero credibility with the Iranian people. Look, the Iranian regime is
absolutely
a disaster.
He is the most popular figure of any Iranians. Are you Iranian? Ask the Iranians yourself.
Okay,
it's very, very clear.
Oh, please,
while there are some people who don't support him, the vast majority of them do support the Shah.
Is she just going to talk over me? Because we can keep doing this all day long. Let me answer the question. So, first of all, the idea that they want their dictator back is hilarious. Second of all, but the thing that I laughed out loud at is she's like, oh, the Iranian people want Israel to bomb them. Do they? Do they? That's the most preposterous thing I have ever heard in my life.
I said the Iranian people want... It's actually not. There are multiple polls that show that. I personally think it's crazy.
Multiple polls that show that they want to be bombed by Israel?
There have been that they support Israeli strikes. That they support Israeli strikes on regime, IRGC, and regime sites exclusively. On IRGC sites. Yes, the majority of the Iranian people support regime change. The majority of the Iranian people support regime change. I find it disgraceful that you are laughing at the suffering of 80 million people who live under an Islamist dictatorship.
No.
There are women who are being dragged away by the morality police. As the Crown Prince mentioned, there is a second front of this war, and it is against the Iranian people internally. Is that funny to you?
Let me get
Is it funny to you that women are being kidnapped by the regime?
Of the time? Is she just going to talk 90% of the time?
Why don't you respond to that?
Right.
Is that funny to you?
Let me just respond real quick.
Do you find it funny that women, that Iranians are being oppressed
on a daily
basis by this regime?
Okay, you can talk all day long. We're not going to... All right, so... Listen, the Iranian regime is terrible. I don't want Muslim fundamentalists in charge of Iran, and the people of Iran don't want Muslim fundamentalists in charge of Iran.
No, and now the discussion shifts to Iran, regime change, and wait for it claims that people want to be bombed for freedom. Absurd or strategic spin. Here's my question. Do you believe external military strikes can ever bring democracy, or does it always backfire? Let's talk in the comments.
So saying that they're against the regime is obvious. That's not the point. The question is, what are you going to do about it? If you said, hey, there's an internal revolution, and they're disgusted by the way that the Iranian regime is treating women or its own citizens and not giving them freedom, I totally agree. But if you claim that they want Israel to bomb Iran in order to effectuate regime change,
You sound, it's not even, you don't even sound like a lunatic. You sound like you're a comic or something. You're trying to make a joke. That's why I'm laughing. No, the Iranian people do not want to be bombed.
Let me bring in Joe. Cenk, would you like, first of all, to address that point?
By the way, do I get a half an hour to respond to all of his nonsense? But go ahead.
Well, first of all, your response to the attacks that have been happening on Jewish people in America.
Yeah, it's disgusting, it's immoral, it's stupid, it's counterproductive. I loathe it. So I'm for peace. I'm against violence.
You didn't waste 5 minutes to write about it on Twitter or to speak about it. You didn't waste a minute to speak about it out of your own volition. No, you didn't.
I've checked before coming
this
online. This genocidal freak has talked for half an hour straight. And Piers, do you see how every time I go to talk, the Israeli propagandists talk over me on your
Jonathan,
show?
You must let him respond now.
They speak for 30 minutes, and then when I go to speak, they talk over me.
Let Cenk speak, because I gave Jonathan...
I just think you're being dishonest.
Jonathan, I gave you a long chance to say your piece.
No, shut up, John. Jesus Christ,
let Cenk respond, please.
No, I'm not going to take shut up from you. I think you're being so dishonest, ironic. And you sit on high horses and lecture others.
Here we go. Do you see, John, you see this, Piers? This is Israeli propaganda. I'll remain calm, but understand that every time I go to talk, the Israeli propagandists that you bring on continue to talk over me.
Jonathan, let him speak.
They've now done it every single time.
Jonathan,
unless you get this Israeli propagandist to stop talking,
let Cenk speak, because he let you speak, Jonathan. Cenk.
Okay, so he's obviously trying to defend the terrorism of Israel. They have killed over 20,000 children. So are they the most incompetent military in the world? Oh, golly gee, we missed 20,000 times. Or are they doing it on purpose?
Or is Hamas hiding behind
You remember
civilians?
In the beginning of the conflict? So here we go. Here we go. Okay, so do you remember in the beginning of the conflict when they pretended to be outraged that there was an accusation that Israel had hit a hospital? And they're like, how could you say this? Israel would never do such a thing. They have now destroyed 20 out of the 22 hospitals in Gaza, totally leveled them.
You remember the incident?
Because they want to make life unlivable in Gaza, because they are terrorists. That is part of the reason why that I abhor violence. I hated what happened on October 7th. He makes it sound like October 6th was perfectly lovely. No, October 6th is when Israel continued to have a 57-year brutal occupation of the Palestinians, demeaning and basically enslaving the Palestinians for 58 years now. When are you going to let them go? You have 5.5 million hostages, those Palestinians under the thumb of despotic Israeli rule. So now Smotrich says, look, we were happy starving them to death, and that's what I would like to have done. But it's bad optics for us. So we have to bring them to the brink of starvation so that the West will continue to let us do what we're doing, which is the genocide and ethnic cleansing of Gaza. These are indisputable facts. Now, when you include women, they've killed over 30,000 innocent women and children. A stadium full of dead bodies brought to you by the IDF. The IDF is murdering those people every day. By the way, they've killed 12 Americans. And both the Biden administration and the Trump administration goes, Americans. A 14-year-old boy who grew up in New Jersey was just murdered by the IDF in the West Bank. And both Trump and Biden go, as long as the money's coming in from AIPAC, I'll let you murder any American you like. I'll let you murder any Palestinian you like. And let's be honest. Hey, brother, Jonathan, why don't you tell me? Here, I'll let you talk now and give your BS Israeli propaganda. As you claim that the worldwide media and the U.S. media are too harsh on Israel, they've given Israel a pass on everything. If they held Israel to the same standard as Hamas, right now, the whole world and the whole media would do nothing but condemn Israel. They have killed over 400 times the number of children that Hamas has killed. The IDF is the biggest terrorist in the world right now. So tell me, are you going to take Gaza and prove me right that this was always a genocidal attack on Palestinians to steal their land? Or are you going to withdraw from Gaza and go to a two-state solution?
You admitted the fact that Israel was attacked first, that started the whole damn thing.
Okay.
No.
Matthew Said.
No, that's not.
Hang on, Cenk.
What I heard was propaganda for a terrorist. just now from Ben. The terrorist state of Israel, who's been occupying the
Who planned the attack and who supported the attack on October 7th?
Why don't you let them go?
Hezbollah.
Why don't you let a foreign people go? How much do you want to oppress and humiliate and murder them? Now you're going to murder Iranians. And by the way, Ben, I think you forgot. You're an American, not an Israeli. Act like an American, not an Israeli. What are you, a foreign agent? Why are you working for a foreign government? Why don't you care about American interests?
I don't work for a foreign government.
We got no interest in this war. I want you guys to be fair and balanced. So don't tell me that the Iranian regime is super dangerous to its neighbors while Israel actually attacks all of its neighbors, including Iran. So tell me about how dangerous the Israeli terrorist regime is as it attacks civilians again and again and again, except that you say, well, Muslim lives don't really matter. That's why you guys don't count the Muslim civilians that Israel murders on a regular basis. So look,
what would they murder you for?
The Iranian regime is bad, and it is, and it is. It's just like Saddam's regime was bad. Hold on, Ben, let me finish. Let me finish. So the North Korean regime is terrible. The Chinese regime runs concentration camps for Uyghur Turks. Those Turks are my people. The Russians invaded Ukraine. These are all terrible regimes. That doesn't mean we have to start a war with them.
All right, let Ben respond.
And it doesn't mean that America has to fight Israel's war for it.
Well, America isn't fighting it at the moment.
We're not fighting
at the moment, America
fight your own wars.
Right, but America
not
is
$1, not one truth.
America is not involved in this war at the moment. Ben Ferguson.
Yeah, it's amazing he just said that Israel would kill him. I asked him 7, 8 times.
That's not true,
What would they murder you for? What would they murder you for? And I said over and over again, you said that Israel would murder you.
They murder journalists more than any other country.
So
they murdered more journalists than World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and Afghanistan combined. They murdered more journalists than all other conflicts in the world combined. They murder Muslim Americans, 12 of them. And America does not defend American citizens in the occupied territories.
All right, Cenk, let him speak.
Israel murders Americans all the time, and America never defends us.
Piers Morgan Uncensored is proudly independent. The only boss around here is me. If you enjoy our show, we ask for only one simple thing. Hit subscribe on YouTube and follow Piers Morgan Uncensored on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And in return, we will continue our mission to inform, irritate and entertain. And we'll do it all for free. Independent, uncensored media has never been more critical, and we couldn't do it without you.